How's it going, guys? In today's tutorial we're going to be working with postage stamps. We're going to be creating a series of stamps just as you see right here on this side. These stamps are going to have a theme, they're going to have a title, a country of where they're from, of course probably United States, but I mean feel free to choose whichever you want. We're going to have a price on them, so for example, let's see which one of these. So this one says 44 is the price of these, and then 22 for this one, 44 for these set of stamps. So usually the way they change is by size and things like that. So they're used for when you mail out your mail. You have different prices depending on the size of stamps, and you can design those for yourself. And of course it's going to have a theme. You can choose between baseball, cartoon, music, etc., whatever. Some of the techniques we're going to be using is going to be layer styles. We're going to be using filters, text. You can download fonts from the font. Custom shapes. You can go to Google and search for downloadable shapes or use the shapes that are already available in Photoshop. We're going to be using brushes and some blend modes. But most importantly, we're going to be learning how to use templates. Now this file, postage stamps templates, has already been provided for you, and you're going to be using it to create your stamps. So I'm only going to be making one, and you're going to use this as an example of how you're supposed to create your own. So my stamps, I'm going to go ahead and choose something. Let's open this up. So I'm going to be choosing some photos of Eminem, and I'm going to be making my entire stamps to be around him. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this image right here. This looks like a good image to use. Well, maybe a different version. This one looks a little bit better. Let's see if there's any more. This one looks really clear, sharp, and the size of this image is pretty big. So we're going to go ahead and copy this image, and then come over here and then press Ctrl V, or we can even go to Edit and Paste. So I have my image here now. Now this is where it starts to get important on how you accomplish your results here. So one of the first things we're going to have to know is that this current template that I provided for you has two parts. The top part, which you can see is that, and the bottom layer, which is the little effect in the background, right? So if we want, if we want this image to be right here, I hope you guys know by now. Go ahead and take time to yourself, think about it. What should we do? Those of you that got it, good job. It is create a clipping mask. So once we create a clipping mask, the image is now inside, and I can actually now Control T and resize it. Please hold Shift. If you do not hold Shift and I get any images that are distorted in any such way, I will deduct points off. So please hold Shift. Remember to hold Shift when you're resizing your images. We're going to go ahead and put this guy right around here because I want to have some space where I'm going to put the rest of the information. And I'll go ahead and click my check mark. So now I have this cool looking image inside. And so if we go over to our requirements, we need to have our country and our price, and also a title of our stamp. So I'm going to call my stamps E for Eminem, and I'm going to go ahead and type right here the letter E. Right now it's set to white, so that's why you can't see it. So I'll go ahead and highlight it, double click, and just select black. Click OK, and maybe make it a little bit bigger. So that's pretty good. This is what I'm going to want as my title, and I'll even make a circle. It's about the size of the letter E. And that circle, I'll go ahead and switch that circle over to black. Put it underneath the letter E. Grab my type tool, and right here select the E and switch it back to white. There we go. So now we have this, and I'm actually going to press Ctrl T, and I'm going to rotate it the other way. Enter, and then move it with my There we go. So these two that I have right here, I'm gonna go ahead and name this circle, and I'm gonna hold Shift and Control G to group it. I'm gonna go ahead and put that E somewhere around here because that's gonna be the thing. Control T, maybe make it smaller, and just go ahead and place it right there. And so for country, I'll go ahead and put USA, Control A, and I'm gonna go with like a dark red right here, and Control T to resize it, and I'm gonna move this here, Control T, just put it facing upwards like this. And we need to use shapes, so I've already used the shape right here, a circle, but I'll go ahead and take advantage of the fact that we can use shapes. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my rectangle tool. And I'm going to make a quick rectangle right here. It kind of goes all the way up to here. And I'll make that rectangle, maybe I'll make it a dark blue. And make sure that USA is on top of it. And I'll go ahead and switch USA over to white, just like so. And so even though this looks kind of cool right here, or at least I like to think it looks pretty cool, what I want to do is have this arm be on top of that shape. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my shape right now. And with my selection tool, I'm going to go ahead and carefully come here, make sure you're selecting the layer, and select this arm as best as you can right here. And so this part over here doesn't matter, but I'm just going to go ahead and press Control C to copy it and Control V to paste it. So now we have, if we move it around, we have this that's just kind of hanging about. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on and grab my floating part of M&M and put it on top of the rectangle. So now it'll go on top of the rectangle. Go ahead and put it there. As you can see now, because of that, we have this that pops out. It's no longer clip masked to the shape. So I'm just gonna grab my marquee tool right here, rectangle marquee. Go ahead and come up here and then just deselect, Control D. And so now we have this, and the arm is on top of it. Looks kind of cool. And so I'll go ahead and make select this rectangle by pressing Alt on my keyboard and selecting the Move tool. Go ahead and make a copy of it. And I'll go ahead and press Control T, move this one up here, right around there. And I'll go ahead and switch the color of that one over to a dark red, just like that. Grab my type tool and put 44 for the 44 cents, right? Make it small. Put that in there. A little bit smaller. Just like that. Yeah. So now I have this cool looking little stamp. So let's go ahead and see what else we need. So we have the title of my stamp, which is the letter E, the country, which is USA, the price, which is 44, and my theme, which is going to be M&M. My theme is going to be all about M&M postage stamps. So that looks pretty cool. So now as far as layer styles, I haven't used them yet. Filters, I haven't used them. Text, I'm currently using Nexa Bold, which I downloaded. You guys should know how to download fonts from the font. So make sure you do that. Custom shapes, I used my rectangles and circles, so I'm good with that. Now we need to use some brushes and some blend modes. So let's go ahead and use brushes next. Go ahead and grab my brush tool. I'll go ahead and scroll down through my brushes, and I don't have any brushes here that I like, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump over here and search for brush easy. Go to the website and just go ahead and download some brushes from here. I'll be quick about it to like get some kind of cool but fast. So I'll grab this ones right here. They're just like little like splats of paint and put free download. And then I wait the amount of time that's there. And so this gets downloaded. Now go ahead and put danger, open it up. So hopefully it worked. They're right here, danger pick strokes, double click. And so now they should be at the very bottom. Yeah, they're all right here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and make a new layer. Oops, that was a group. A new layer right here. And from a new layer, I'll go ahead and make my brush a little smaller. And maybe go with like a black. And that's too small. Make it just about there and just color it in just like so. Control Z, need to set my flow to 100 just like that. And I'll go ahead and put this, let's see, I needed to show. So we also need to work with our blend modes, right? So I'll go ahead and set this over to overlay. And maybe trying to see where I can place this. Might need to cut him out first, so I'll go ahead and delete that. And I'm actually going to cut him out from the image. Make sure that I'm on the correct layer so I can select him. So I have him selected right here, and I'm going to go ahead and deselect all this. Select him there. Now I'm not like entirely trying to make this perfect, but I am trying to get a decent selection here, mainly because all I want to do is put the brush stroke underneath him. So right here I'm going to press Control C and then paste him, and I'm going to actually create a clipping mask and just put him back into that one. And so now I can actually create a new layer here, grab my brush, just put stuff behind him. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. So I'll go ahead and put this like a dark red. Just kind of put it like right there. That looks kind of cool. And so now I have some brushes, and I'll go ahead and now add some layer style. So I'll go over to textures, images, and see what we have here. Something not too bad, maybe something like this, but I need something that's bigger, so maybe something like this one here. Control C, copy, and then bring it over to my Photoshop file and press Control V. And I'll put him at the very top. And I'll resize him a little bit. And I'm just gonna make him fit inside that shape. This one doesn't really matter as far as it being distorted because it's just a texture, and I'll go ahead and put like overlay. So now we have this cool effect, and maybe I'll lower the opacity just a little bit, and I'll go ahead and leave it like that. And so now if we go over to our objective, we've worked with layer styles, or actually layer styles would be the very last thing we do. So this is probably when you start to realize that like this is black right now, and most stamps won't be black. So you have to change the color. So we'll right click, go to blending options, and then go ahead and just put color overlay. And I want it actually set to white. But if we put white, now we can't see it, right? And notice this is our layer style, so this is where we work with layer styles. So I'm going to drop a shadow. By dropping a shadow, we can now get the effect of the stamp there. And by clicking drop shadow, we can mess around with the distance, the spread, and the size. So I'll go ahead and leave it somewhere around that, and of course y'all can copy these numbers and just press OK. So now we have this cool looking stamp. That's just stamp number 1, guys. So when I tell you guys, and then I'll select all of them by pressing Control Shift. So I'll select the very first one, go to the very top one while holding Shift, and I can select all of them and press Control G. That groups everything into just one layer. So when I say, guys, I want you guys to take your time with these stamps and like really get creative and design something that looks great. This is what I mean, like take your time on this. Don't just create whatever and turn it in. So in this one we used layer styles, we used our filters, we used text, and we used custom shapes, we used brushes, and we used blend modes. So as you can see, that's stamp number 1, and you guys are going to be creating a series of 6 stamps. So this is stamp number 1. This one, once you're done, you can go ahead and turn it in, save it as a JPEG and just turn it in for me like this. And then you're going to use this template, and all you're going to have to do from here is just duplicate this one so that you have multiples. Now the way that I do this is I hold Alt and I'm able to make copies of it, and then you can resize them by selecting all of them, so you can be able to fit all 6 of the ones that you need to create. And also remember that if you want to create your stamps maybe sideways or something, you can press Ctrl T and just make sure your stamp is a sideways stamp, and you can create a stamp that is sideways. So this is going to be your assignment. I only need 1 stamp of the M&M tutorial. Once you're finished with this tutorial, you can go ahead and submit your image and turn it in. And that's all for this tutorial, guys. And then after you're done with the tutorial, you can go ahead and get started on your 6 steps. Have fun with it, enjoy, and that's it. See you on the next one.